got proof. This message is directly to you. What did it do? I don't care how much you flip verses without cursing. You can do this by rehearsing, but your life served no purpose. I'm talking to you. Cause you got swag and you rock shows. You got skills and you flip flows. You got a chain that swing and you keep that go. What do you do this for? You claim you're doing it for the Lord. Maybe you're doing it for the applause. You're supposed to be doing it for gold. I'm Christian entertainment. There goes the vainess, saying that I'm shameless while Jesus go nameless. What good is a Christian if you ain't walking Christ-like? As a matter of fact, Christian stands for Christ-like. So what happens when they see you and don't see that Christ-like? And they be like, oh my gosh, she's supposed to be like. So this goes out to my favorite artist, my writer, my producer, my anybody that ever had to give them what they want, give them what they need. Give them what they need, then they won't be deceived. And if they be deceived, then they probably won't believe. Give them what they want, I'ma give you what you need. Give them what they want, give them what they need. Give them what they need, then they won't be deceived. And if they be deceived, then they probably won't believe. Give them what they want, now I'ma give you what you need. Give them what they want.
I got 150 different reasons why they telling me that they sanctified, but it's hard for me to believe them. Memorize the scriptures, they know chapters and the verses. Cut them off at the grocery store and now they speak and they curse. It's similar. Oh heck, I'm just gonna say it's like the world. Reject the Great Commission, man, it make me wanna earn. What do you mean that you're a Christian, but you ain't no disciple? Are we part of the same kingdom? Are we reading the same Bible? Is Christian just the title?
The idol. Oh man, give them what they want, give them what you need. Hey, I'm your host, JER to the K. Yo, it stands for Jesus, edifying reverence in the kingdom, and welcome back to another edition of Club JUDAH Returns. Yo, just a shout out to everybody that's working behind the scenes. Pastor Colette, just want to say love you. Pastor David, love you too, man. I'm just saying that they make these things happen, and I just wanted to make sure that they get recognized for the diligent work that they do. I've been missing for a minute, so I feel good coming back. You know what I mean? I feel hot. You know, I'm a little excited. So, okay. Anyway, let me compose myself. Letting you know that we have a little disclaimer that I must tell you. We may get into some content that might not be suitable for kids. So, we keep it all Christ, though. It's all Christ on this show, but we get into some subject matters that may get touchy because we're talking about real people. We're talking about real lives. We're talking about real life situations here. We don't hold no punches. And, yeah, we just keep it raw. You know what I mean? So, but I can guarantee you that these people love the Lord. They already know what the platform is for. And so, yeah, with that disclaimer, I'm about to get into the show, man. As you see on right there, we got the Stilly B. So with no further ado, I'm just going to show you this short little clip, this video, man, so you can get into it. So let's go. Let's roll the tape. Let's do what we got to do because I'm just going to
be able to keep doing this. God, you're gonna have to help me or something because I am so stressed right now. Oh.
Hold up, let's take it slow. Deep breaths, are you ready? Let's go. Close your eyes, count to 10. Count sheep, don't freeze. Satan's at it again. We're like tripping cause he's ripping out our body with his claws. Barks worse than his bite, so don't look at his jaws. Let's just focus. Let's breathe. And remember, homie, that you're one of his sheep. See, the shepherd's got you, dog, and he's never letting go. So you feel stressed out, breathe in, breathe out. Whoa. No matter what's going down, Jesus Christ is in your boat and he ain't gonna let you drown. Now just because you got a little water in your lungs, don't panic, stress, frantic, make the devil look dumb. look to Christ cause he's standing right there. Look, where you need him, use your prayers like a road flare. Now throw your hands up, daddy wants to help, but you gotta just breathe, you're beside yourself.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Deep breath, baby.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Got this.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Deep breath, baby.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Got this. Now what does God really say about stress? Let's take a look, cause I know I'm in a mess. That I've got stress from my family tree. I've got my grandma, my mama, my tia, and me. Shoot, even the missus got a stress bug tripping. And I know I'm gonna have some kids and they'll be straight flipping. So what's the Lord say? someone turn to Matthew. Open up your Bible, scriptures coming at you. Chapter 6, dog, verse 25. I'ma read it real loud. Don't worry about your life. What you gonna eat, gonna drink, not your body. Yo, this is nuts. Go and tell somebody. Why God say that? Look at verse 34. Sufficient for today is his trouble for sure. And if you back up one, it gives us all a little hint. Seek it first, God's kingdom, and he has the rest in. Who's this rapper dropping knowledge like this? Follow my own advice? I know, I should, I wish.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Deep breath, baby.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Got this.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Deep breath, baby.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Got this. Now why you gotta freak out? You done and let the freak out. You worried about Friday or Monday before the week's out. Now we outsmarted in like every single way. If his thoughts above our thoughts and his ways above our ways. Yet we fret and we trip over money and bills. We come crying to the Lord and he's like, dog, chill. I own me a cattle up on 1,000 hills, and I got the whole universe bending right to my will. Well, if that's the case, I can't think of one thing that's got your boy said tripping. It trips up my king. I know that giant Z's real big in your eyes, but yo, that giant's gonna die cause I fight on the Lord's side. No lassie, don't trip just cause Timmy's in the well. I got Christ on speed dial, and he comes when I yell for my papa. Oh, my daddy's coming quick, and he calms me down. Ain't nothing daddy can't fix. Hey yo, relax, relax. I said he calms me down, ain't nothing daddy can't fix.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Deep breath, baby.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Got this.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Deep breath, baby.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Got this.
What you stressing for, boy? What you stressing for? What you stressing for, girl? What you stressing for? What you stressing for, boy? What you stressing for? What you stressing for, girl?
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Deep breath, baby.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Got this.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Deep breath, baby.
Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Got this.
Breathe in. What you doing, my brother? Hey, so this is the incomparable Steely B. Hey, you know what? You know what? When was that video? How long ago was that video, man? When did that video?
2015, 2014, something like that. 2015, around there.
Okay. No, it still look good, bro.
That's crazy. I was skinnier back then.
I was about to say you slim daddy.
Yeah, man, back then I was skinny. Before I had no children.
So what was the concept? I mean, man, first of all, I heard like 5-6 verses in there, man. You broke down the scriptures in there, which is cool because you rarely hear that in gospel rap these days. Well, I can't even
funny because it's gospel rap. You would think you'd hear them.
That's what I just said, gospel rap, and now I said most people do Christian hip hop, so it's a difference. It's a difference,
right? But it's just funny that you don't hear it as much. You know, I think for me the concept. Well, first of all, is just to be real with my audience. I have not as much God's teaching me to grow out of it, but I've had my whole life this really big stress problem, worry problem, and I wanted to be real about it because I think that a lot of times as hip hop artists, we're afraid to be real. We're afraid to just be honest with our audience about what we're struggling with, because we feel like if I don't want you to know I struggle with something, you know.
Wait a minute, you think that happens?
You know, yeah. Oh, I know.
You think that happens in Christian hip hop? I know it happens on the other side, but this side.
So, you know, my head was just like, I want to write a song, and I actually have another one on my next album that does that too. Where I wanted to write a song where I was like just talking about something I knew, something I fail at every day, and putting it into words for people who could feel it. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people who that's their favorite song that I do because they're like, wow, they could just. And I have to tell myself that all the time. Just breathe in, breathe out. Like, you're all right. Like you good. God's got this. You know. So that was really where I was at with that.
Oh, that's cool, man. Hey, that was actually my first question. So we get into something called the 7 Qs. So we have, it's not really 7 Qs. I don't even know why we call it. I call it 7 Qs because
Oh,
we
that's
actually
smart.
throw in the A and B to the question. So it ends up being like 9 questions. But
I
you basically answered, the first question, where was your head at when you did these bars and when you wrote them? And so that was basically what it is. So you just said about the anxiety. Is that before you get on stage, or is it just during life period?
just life. I don't have. I don't get nervous getting on stage. It's not a thing that happens.
What?
I never. But that's mainly so. Okay, nervousness is part of the game. But the reason that I'm getting nervous on stage is that's one part of my flesh that I've learned to murder.
Oh, okay.
I'm there to do a job. I'm there to deliver the message. I'm there to be an instrument, and I'm there to preach God's word, whatever it is that I'm there to do. So I just shoot nervousness right in the face right before I get on the hill. Bah, nope, like we're not doing that. We're not having it. And I just let's go. And I just give myself let the Holy Spirit take me, and I run with it. And so I never allowed nervousness to maybe the day before but never like that time. It's just
yeah. Okay.
So, anxiety though plagues the rest of my life like a beast, and it's really even my wife, and I'm sure one day my kids will have it. They're too little for it now, but
no, they won't have it. We're gonna pray over that.
there we go. By the end of this, though.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? So it's real. It's a real thing for me. And
I feel you.
Thank God I don't have to take no medication for it or nothing like that. But but not everybody. I know that my wife has to. Some people have to take medication for it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty intense for a lot of people, and I know it could lead to people committing suicides. Like it's some real stuff. You know what I mean? And but yet God straight up tells us not to worry about nothing. Like I've got you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like my mantra when I hear that song. I'm like, all right, remind myself again. I gotta breathe.
Okay. So that song really, really hit home in that way.
Yeah.
Sheesh, when you said I want to explore some of the okay, you said anxiety, does anxiety lead to depression or?
I think depression, first of all, everyone can be depressed as far as a feeling is concerned, right? On that level, we've all, I'm depressed today, or today I had a depressed moment or whatever. But then there's depression, right?
Yeah.
Which is a condition. You can actually have a mental condition, mess with your mind.
Right.
And I know from my wife's case, there's a certain amount of medication she had to take to even get her mind on a level that will allow her to do life, and that can definitely lead down some roads that can lead to suicide and things like that. I've learned a lot about it now that my wife has it. I've been able to talk to her doctors, and I've been able to learn things. It's pretty intense. And I think that you can have anxiety. You can have anxiety and so many different triggers for people. You could have an anxiety of, I don't like to answer the phone. So therefore, I'm not going to set up a voicemail. I ain't going to call nobody back. I'm not going to answer the phone, period. Because how I don't know how I might be perceived. I don't want to give the wrong information out. And I'm like, oh my God. And then your heart starts going and you just implode.
Yeah.
Very, very real. And because it's something my wife deals with, it's really just deep on my heart. And so I don't have depression myself, but I definitely have had the worry part my whole life. Just, and what's weird is I don't worry about things I don't worry about my day-to-day things as much. I worry about future things that I'm not that aren't happening today. If one of my kids is sick, I start worrying about, oh my God, is there something internally wrong? We have to go to the hospital. When God's like, slow down, bro, it's a cold, calm your city. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got this, man. Trust me. Slow down.
I saw it. If my car makes one noise, I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the mechanic.
Yeah, we gotta get a new car now.
Yeah, here we go. You know what I'm saying? So I've been like that a lot.
Okay, so let's get into the two. So this explains it. How did you become a Christian? Now I know the story, but nobody else knows the story.
Next question. No, just kidding. Jesus saved me. Next. No. I've been a Christian so uniquely, and I say uniquely because not a lot of people have had the privilege to say this, but I've been a Christian since I was 5 years old. It's just been a badge of honor that I've been able to carry around with me my whole life.
What do you mean by 5 years old?
When I was 5 years old, I accepted Christ.
Okay.
I was the story was told to me such that I was at a concert. I think it was a concert by a rock artist named Daryl Mansfield. And my dad had took me, I think it was at our church or something. And I went up with like however many people went up. There wasn't a lot, but I remember they picked me out of the crowd. They were like, he actually picked, he said, "Do you know why you're here?" And I said, "Yeah, I want Jesus." And he was like, "Who's Jesus?" And he asked me, I had told him, and he was like, he kind of said, "Look at this little man." And he pointed at me like, this little dude. So he had prayed over me. I prayed, I accepted Christ in my life. And, you know, I just never looked back.
Man,
you know,
that's dope. So you didn't have those teenage moments where you was like, you know,
because none of those moments, none of the moments that you would normally, all the things that people was, oh, I started to lean this way into the world or this way or this way.
Yeah.
None of that stuff happened to me until I was like a young adult. It's like
man,
I was such in a bubble. I was, and I kudos to my father, props to my dad, because it was one of the things. My dad sheltered us from a lot of those things.
Yeah.
You know, as a parent, I think you hope one day that you didn't mess your kids up too bad. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things my dad did right was he made sure I knew God.
That's dope.
That he knew, he wanted to make sure I was going to know God. I could read a concordance by the time I was 13. You know, I was reading in my word. My dad had me to the point where if I got in trouble, I had to write essays about the Bible. Like my dad was like, "Get the word. We're going to drill it into this kid." I remember being in elementary school, and people didn't really like me too much. I don't even remember having a real good friend until like junior high or high school. I'd be in elementary school. I'd be on the swing singing songs to Jesus. He'd be my friend. Jesus ride with me through all of that. I was bullied a lot growing up, a lot. Basically because I wasn't silent about my faith. I just, you know, I was also kind of stupid about it sometimes too, because I was a little bit of a Pharisee. But I'm not gonna lie, I was. But I think that that
was zeal. Man. That was just a zeal.
Yeah, I think, but it was. I was so young and zealous. I was freshman and sophomore year. I would attend Christian club, and I would go stand up on the bleachers and in the quad and just talk about Jesus and preach.
Okay.
Like people weren't doing, you know, none of the young people have that story, you know.
So what led you into CHH then? Because you go, hey man, you know, I would think you'd be preaching instead of rapping. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that. I had a brother, a boy refugee, actually. When we met, I was in the studio recording my album that song was on. It's called "Dropping Weight," and I was recording it, and he looks at me and he goes, "You're a better preacher than you are a rapper." And he never heard me. I hadn't even recorded yet. Like he hadn't heard me spit rhymes. And I wasn't really sure how to take that because I wasn't even a pastor at the time. I was like, "What are you trying to say?" Like, I don't know, you know. And it turns out that then God led me down that path a little bit too. And to answer your question, so I wasn't allowed to listen to hip hop. It wasn't a thing growing up. My dad doesn't like that kind of music. Just it, you know, rubs him the wrong way, wrong vibes. So he did everything he could to stop me from listening to it.
So just set a backdrop. What time? What time? Like what year was that? So because you know, I think at that time, I mean, if it was pretty far back, a lot of churches wasn't with the.
Yeah, no, it was like I want to say, my first experience with hip hop was like '96.
Oh yeah.
You know, there was some Christian hip hop, but it was just not as live as I think we brought it. And like I think DC Talk was real big. You know what I'm saying? If you could call them hip hop. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there was more rock at that time.
Right. And I remember, did you do the thing, like some 8th grade classes will go to like Washington, D.C.? Some schools will send them to Washington, D.C. So my 8th grade class,
I heard about it.
They you know, my dad was like, we raised the money and everything. We went. So as we were going to Washington, D.C., we stopped in New York to pick up this other school that was going with us. And this other school was an all-girl school, and they were all black. And, you know, I never really hung out with that many black people before, to be honest. Just you know, I was mostly Mexicans, the neighborhoods I was in. And
okay, so what's your nationality? I mean, I'm gonna stop you real quick.
I'm like, I guess you would call me Mexican, Italian. You know.
Okay.
And even the school I went to, I think even the junior high I went to, there was like 2 black kids. Like I knew them, but I never really heard the hip hop, and I never heard it all. I was inundated with just the boom bap, just got me. Because my mom still to this day, my mom loves funk music. I mean, the get down of funk, you know, just so different than anything that Christian contemporary rock can bring. Is, you know, And so they was listening to all this music, and I was like, but as I was listening to it, I was thinking, gosh, the words were just. Matter of fact, I had to they would be like, "Are you sure you don't want to listen to it?" I'm like, "Nah, I'll hear it from over here, not in your headphones," because I knew I could hear the words. But if I would just listen next to them on the flight, I could feel the beat and not have to hear the words.
Yeah.
So we landed at our place, and we're waiting to take our plane to actually go to DC. And they said you got like however long, and that was back when you could just run around the airport, you know. So I went into this Christian bookstore, and they had a section that was Christian music, and I looked at all the tapes. That's how old I am. Tapes. I looked at the cassette tapes. Yeah, my dad got me a Walkman for that trip because I was
not 8-track, but it was regular tapes.
So I'm looking at these tapes, and I'm like, it said Christian, and then it said rap, and I was so confused. I remember being so perplexed in my mind. Because my dad didn't really want me listening to hip hop, but he never said anything about Christian hip hop. I don't think it ever entered his mind that I would, you know. So of course, I come back, and now I've got Christian hip hop on my mind. I had him buy me a couple CDs, and
So do you remember the first tape you bought?
yeah, the DC Talk was the first tape that I bought.
Okay.
The first one, but the first real hip hop I heard was from this group called Unity Clan. And this group called and then Cross Movement. I bought Christology.
Oh yeah, okay. Everybody, the Cross Movement was huge back then. Yeah,
but I didn't know how big they were. To me, I just thought I'm in the store and I'm just like, and my dad didn't like it so much. He goes, "I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Go in there, pick something out." So I'm just going through these racks, like, what do I even pick? Like, I don't even know. I just this one, and I just grabbed them.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how did you become a part of Club Judah? So how did that lead you down to Club Judah?
Man, well, so many different ways. My first memory of Club Judah was actually probably kind of with Prophecy Records. So I had signed with Prophecy Records back in 2013, and I had started doing a lot of shows. Kind of
shout out to Prophet X.
Prophet X, that's my boy. I started doing a lot of shows with them, and Club Judah was one of the places that they took me. And I just remember coming in. I wasn't really sure how to take it because I was like, is this a church? Is this a club? Is it both? Like, I wasn't really sure what I couldn't. But I will say my first impression of Pastor Colette was like, wow, how cool and how bold do you have to be to just be like, look, I don't want you to know new revelations, you know. Bringing you in that circle, and I'm like, how real.
Let me tell you, she said, if an angel of light suddenly came to you and gave you a different doctrine, you take that to your pastor, but don't share that here.
And what's cool about that, at least for a bunch of dudes who are getting ready to go perform their music, you know, very ego checking.
Yeah.
To walk into a hip hop and be, yeah, I'm about to do my thing, trying to get in the and then hear someone tell you that, you really have to check your ego at the door to receive that.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times people be on the mic and they just start saying stuff, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just open your mouth and let stuff come out. Like, no.
And I believe if you said something crazy, she will check you. Like,
she would come this live feed if I said something crazy. Like, she don't.
Oh yeah, you'll see her pop in the corner probably over here.
There she goes. But I love that. I love that woman for that, because my first reaction was just like, wow, God, that's amazing that someone was willing to just check. And I remember my first show with Club Judah, there was a decent amount of people on the roster, and a lot of these rappers, I'm like, there's so much ego in this room. And that cut like a knife, and everyone just kind of went, okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And not that anything would have happened, but it cut. And everyone had to kind of get knocked down a level a little bit.
That's good.
So,
that's good.
That was my first experience with the family.
So we have two other pieces of your music, man.
Okay.
They shortened to about 2 minutes, man. Let's can we get into it, Pastor Colette? Let's check this out. Great.
lungs breathe. See what I mean? That was him, intelligent design, and just one that he had in mind. Animal cells, plants, trees, how could anybody not bend the knee? And some say that he doesn't exist, even that's a trick. If you crack the whip, cause you blaspheme him, and you live in sin, and you're doing it all, and he's letting you live. Boom! This blows my mind. Follow him or get in line. Yet he's giving us a choice. He who fashioned light with his voice knew where to separate day from night. Stand for the seashore, man, he's tight. Follower of all, he's the Lord of life. No darkness at all, nothing out of his sight. God, I just can't understand your greatness, cause I'm just a man. Light but a vapor, nothing dust. So I bow in you, I trust. Give you my heart, you gave me it first. Better than I, you know it's worth. Yeah! Satan hiding where he at? I mean, how you gonna compare with all that?
Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world.
He's greater. He's greater. He's greater. He's greater. This ain't even funny. Satan can't compare it all. I mean, God's so great, he planned salvation for there was a fall. How you try and outplay one who wrote the whole book and created your capacity to think and look? Now how do you oppose this God who made you? Don't come against me cause I'm brand new, babe. Oh my God, so great that he gave me his blood when I didn't deserve an act of selfless love.
Okay, I'm tired of that one now already. Oh.
That was funny.
Hey, that's like the Angel of Lights thing. When that come on, that just humbles you, right?
Yeah. That's funny.
You want to get all up in yourself. You like, you know what, this dang thing is really. But yeah. Greater, man. I heard you singing in there, man.
Mm-hmm. It's been a minute since I've had it. Oh man,
You was on the praise team before?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you were, huh?
No, I don't. So I don't do worship. I don't do worship teams.
Oh no,
it's a rule that I have for myself now. I've been a performer for so long, and people have asked me, "You have a great voice. You should be on a." But I've been a performer for so long. To me, worship is special, and worship is. I shouldn't be there to perform. I should be leading you into worship. It's just a different thing. When I step on stage, I step on stage to bring you Jesus. But I've just been a performer for so long. It's just a different style. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to step on stage, not and be the center of attention, but it's just hard for me to step on stage with that. You know, maybe one day God will change that for me. But yeah, I love to singing since I could talk. And
do you play an instrument?
I play guitar.
Yeah, guitar, right? So I'm just saying. So the natural thing is, you know, I would think. See, for me, I'm a worshiper at heart. So I think my thing is different. Like, yeah, I think I wanted to bring an element of worship into rap, if you could. You know what I mean? If you would, I think that was my whole goal, was to try to get people to see Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that worship side of the art of rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a side to it. That's why I love that you made the distinction: gospel rap versus Christian hip hop. Like, it's just that.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I just always wanted to let. If I'm just being 100, dude.
No, for real.
The only reason I got into gospel hip hop was because I wanted to give Christian kids like me something fun to listen to. Like, yo, we could bang just as hard. Like that was really it. Like I didn't have no. You know, it was just like bang. We could like let's get. Because the world's music is dope, and you're just like, especially in the 90s, right? And I'm like, where's the why is the Christian? You know, I'm tired of Monopoly. Can we do something? Can we have some fun?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, there's def.
But yeah, Greater is a dope song for me. It's just about, you know, basically boasting on my Jesus. You know what I'm saying? How great he can be.
That's what it is, bro. I like that. Yeah. So and later in the future, we might see you with a guitar and on the doing the acoustic set.
There's something.
Tell us about your testimony with your children. That's number 5.
Yeah. So we couldn't have kids. At least we were told we couldn't have kids. The doctor told us in 2016 that some medical terminology, I don't know, my wife a nurse, so she understood it all, and I was in the room like, can someone speak English? Basically, that there was only a 6% chance or less that we'd ever naturally conceive. And it was heartbreaking for me. I remember me and my dad crying together, just praying, God, I don't know. This was my dream. Like, since I was 7 years old, all I wanted to do was be a father and a husband. So it was hard for me to receive that. I'm like, what? So God led us down the road of IVF, which is in vitro fertilization, for those of you who don't know. And it was like $70,000 for me to have one baby.
Whoa.
Yeah. And the insurance, God really blessed, because I said, Lord, if this is of you, do something, because I don't have no $70,000. And
I feel you.
so God did something, because my wife's insurance covered 90% of that bad boy.
Oh, well, praise God.
Yeah. So we still have to take out between the medication and everything, still ended up being like 30 grand. We're still paying off my son, basically, and he's 4 now. We still paying him off. Yeah. When he acts up, I'm like, I'm gonna take you back to the bank, dude. They'll come get you too. I don't know what they're gonna do with you.
You're stupid for that.
Man, sorry. Let them come get you real quick.
Hey man, I think what you gave me was defective. It's acting crazy.
Right. I'm defaulting on this loan for the, but my boy Refugee, he's actually my son's godfather. Before we were sure what we were going to do, before we had heard that news, he came and had laid hands on my wife's, I put my hand on my wife's stomach. He put his hand on my hand and prayed my son into that womb. He goes, and you guys, he goes, by this time, it was March of that year. He goes, by this time next year, you guys are gonna have a boy. So what was crazy was that was the insemination process, like the actual putting the embryo into the woman. We were told, I think it was like 3 days later, we were told whether or not it worked. And they asked me, what do you want? Do you want us to put a boy in first or a girl? Because we got an option, which I didn't know. That's even weird for me to be like, what?
Wow.
I was just like, you put in whatever one looks the best to you. I don't know how that would, whatever one has the best chance, put that one in. So when they called and told me it's a boy, you guys are going to have a baby boy. It was the day, year to day.
Wow.
That he told that. Oh my God, I had shivers. And then
God is good, isn't he?
And then 2 years later, we are going to the zoo with our 2-year-old. My wife had been sick that week. She goes, can you go get me a pregnancy test? And I was like, gosh darn it, we're not doing this again. Nah, because we'd been down that road. So I went and bought like the cheapest pregnancy test. I went to the 99-cent store. I was like,
I'm still paying off this baby. I'm giving you a 99-cent pregnancy test.
So she goes, okay. So she goes, sit down. And I'm like, don't start conversations like that. What do you mean sit down? So she goes, just sit down. She goes,
you're like, what did I do?
Yeah, no, for real. I was like, what? All right. She goes, no, it's positive. So I was like, well, now I have to go buy you a real one. Cause like, I don't know, 99-cent store. Like, okay. I also bought like what the heck? I don't know. So I went and bought her a real, I made her do like 2 of them because we didn't believe it. So sure enough. And she's like, well, I guess we go to the doctor. So gosh darn it. Sure enough, man, we had a natural baby. Now we have a 2-year-old, man. God is crazy how that works. I'm like, and what's funny is I remember being like, wait a minute, God, so you made me pay $30,000 for the first one when you could have just given me a natural one?
I don't think he made you pay. I think that was you being zealous.
Yeah, right. But what's crazy,
Abraham, what you say? Give me that $30,000. That was the handmaid.
Ishmael first, I think that my wife always says she thinks that her body needed to get jump started. And then all of a sudden after that, it knew what to do. It like, oh, cool, that's what I do, so.
No, I think God had everything to do with it. Just like the man of God said, look, by this time next year, and it didn't happen exactly the way the man of God said it, man, that's nothing but God. So, yeah, bro.
What's crazy is, so his name, my son's name is Leviticus.
Okay.
And Levi means separated unto God. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy about that is that's what they had. That was the process that they had to do was like literally we're going to get into it, I guess. They pick a sperm. They picked them. And they picked the egg that they're going to use. And they put those 2 together. So literally my son was picked. And God knew which one was him. Like that blows my mind. Hence the song Greater. Like, God, Lord, what can the enemy do? What can he do? So with the anxiety and with all of this thing
and you had to have the faith to trust God about this process. Some people may think it's easy, but tell us the journey through that process.
It was the first of all, they don't tell you how weird that process is, and we ain't gonna get into it because it's like they just doing that. You know, you have to go give your sample, and it's weird like that. Weird stuff going down. While I was in the room to like give my sample, my pastor called me, and I'm like, I ain't answering this call, and he's like, so what? But then he texted me, and his text said, "What are you up to?" And I was like, how do I answer this?
I got a bunch of jokes right here. I can really write right now.
Not the time. I was like, and then his next text said, whatever it is, I'm praying for you. And I was like, oh, I was losing it. I'm in there laughing, and I'm wondering like who's outside thinking like, what's this dude in there laughing for? And they're crying, laughing.
For real.
It was the funniest thing. All I remember is like, you go. So like, if you ever done anything like that for medical purposes, you do that. Then you have to go and like up to some window and give them your stuff, and they do something with it. And the lady looked me dead in the eye and she goes, you done? I was like, I lost it, bro. She was like, are you done? And I'm like, why would I be up here not?
Oh wow. This story gets even deeper. And that's why I told you we keep it all godly. But yeah.
But it's life, though. It's just again things I didn't think I would have to do. I didn't think that would ever be. It's the weirdest process, and here I am. And it was so like I was so self-conscious. Like I'm sitting in the waiting room, like I know what I'm there for, but like, what do I ask when I walk up? Do they know why I'm there? Like and so just having to trust God with all of that, man, and just being like, all right, God. And then what's crazy is if it didn't work, we would still have had to pay. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah.
So even if it didn't work, like, what do you mean by if it didn't work? Like if something happened,
if there was no embryos, if we got no embryos out of it, if however many embryos you get, they're not liable if it does not work. So my wife, the whole process, they help, they give the medication, stimulate my wife's stuff. My wife produced like enough eggs that they fertilized 10 embryos. Most people only get one.
Wow.
So like if it didn't work, we would have still had to pay them all the money.
For the other embryos?
Just in general, whether it worked or not. If they transferred it, she didn't get pregnant, we owed them money. So it's like, Lord, I was almost like, God, I really hope you're doing this, because this is a weird route to go down. If you're not, we'll just go on a cruise with that money. Like, Yeah,
$7,000 is a good vacation.
Oh yeah, bro. Well, not to mention the other $25,000 we had to pay for all the medications and all the stuff. Like it was like,
oh wow,
you know what I could do with $30,000? Like, geez, I could have had a new studio, man. Club Judah Part 2. Like I don't know what I could have done with $30,000, but it's like, all right, Lord, and it's funny because every time I want to get mad at this little dude, and there are some times, where you want to get mad at your kid. I look at him, and I see myself every time.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, dang it, but I made you though. God darn it, okay. I don't paying you off. I can't. It's kind of like, I'm still paying my car off. I don't want to hurt this kid. I make him. I still want to pay him off. Wait till I'm done, then I can mess with you. I love it.
I still got insurance on this car note right here.
Right, that's what it. So but it's so cool because like I pray over my kids every night. They don't know about it because usually it's after they're asleep. I'll put my hand on the door and just pray over them. Whenever I pray over my son, it's just so like, Jesus.
Yeah, and you know what? The God will show you himself sometimes through your kids. There's been times where, I'm fussing at my kids for something, and God's like, you do me the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you find it a little grace in there somewhere, and you go, okay, I'm gonna let you slide this time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? Let's get into another song. This New Life. What's up with New Life, man?
This one and Greater, just so FYI, it's off my album called Cardiac Analysis. You guys can go get that. Spotify, Google Play, any other place, it's on there. So this song New Life basically is kind of a testimony track. Just, I was raised different, and I'm letting everyone, I'm about that new life. And so you'll hear it.
All right.
People asking me what makes me different. People asking me about my style. People asking me what makes me different. So let me tell you all what makes me smile. Yo, I got saved at 5 years old. Grew to follow Christ, props to daddy for the mold. Hey, I watched a man of God, now I'm a man of God. I owe my life to Jesus, the thought was never odd. It's been like this since your boy was only treated. Following Jesus, yo, this is the only way that I breathe it. Not in pride, y'all, he made me brand new at such a young age that it's all that I do. I never knew a time without a church or call my home. Rolling deep in fellowship, and now that I'm grown, I even host Bible studies up on my own. Being a saint, yo, it's all I know. Saved by the Lord, every day he makes me grow. Not saying that I'm perfect, but one day I'm gonna grow. I can't believe that he lives inside of me. It still blows my mind that God chooses to abide with me. People asking me what makes me different. People asking me about my style. People asking me what makes me different. So let me tell you all what makes me smile. I just tell them I'm saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, water baptized. Got the Lord on my mind all the time. I'm about that new life, baby. I'm about that new life. Yeah, see, I ain't never gotta worry, cause I follow the king. The only Donald truly flosses, Jesus steps in the ring. Knocks my problems out the water, troubles getting laid out. And all my debts, they canceled, y'all paid out. Bail out, yeah, I guess it is, because nobody could ever swing a debt that big. This a new life talk and a new life walk. Christ frame my mind, put the flesh on lock. Are you about that life? If not, then don't knock it, especially if you watching us.
Oh, you rocking to it, huh?
I'm about to make a whole song out of it. Just
Please don't. No, I'm just messing.
it'll be a 30-second song. Don't worry about it.
Oh man, for real. It'll be a good intro. We have other intros to the people that's working behind the scenes. It just
Nah, keep it now.
I don't listen to Christian rap. I think it's corny. Well, keep injecting yourself with poison. It's all fun and games until your kids is reciting and doing every single thing you've been pumping into them all these years. Now you want to beat the brakes off them. Nah, that's all you, boo-boo.
That was my boy Brinson. Shout out to Brinson, man. Yeah. Yeah, that could have been a nice little intro. You know, we got others. Yeah,
We'll do something with it.
Oh man. So that was number 5. So we're at number 6. So but first of all, let's New Life. Let's go back to New Life real quick. New Life was where was you at as far as New Life? Oh, you did. You said it was about
Testimonial. You know what I'm saying? That whole, just tell them I'm saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost. So that's an old school Calvary Chapel song, and I remixed how it used to go.
Oh, so you Calvary Chapel kid.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Chapel Loves is born and raised, and that was an old school. They were like, I got a new life. If anybody asks you, what's the matter with you? Just tell them I'm saved, sanctified. So I flipped it. I was just like, well, we're going to funk it up a little bit. So I was like, saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost. Yeah, and when Prophet heard me do that, he was just like, dude, that's stupid. Like, we were in the studio just kind of doing one of these, I was like, we have to do this. Like, this has to vibe. So it was pretty cool.
So tell me what's the process as far as working with Prophet X? I mean, every producer have their own prophet.
Yeah. I will say Prophet, my boy, he's very structured, very he has a plan, the way that it's supposed to go is a process. And I like it. There's a part of me that really likes that because I was raised by a Marine, so part of me really likes like he knows you go in there, you don't waste time. Him saying, what you do when you do it. And you first pick beats, then you write lyrics. We don't do the opposite. So I like that he has a process that I can follow and I know what to expect when I go in there.
Oh, okay. Because some people, so he make you do. Okay, Do he make you finish the track before you can get another track?
No, we do all beats. So first I'll do all the beats, pick all the beats.
Okay.
And even before that, he wants to know what the plan is for the album. What's the concept? What are you saying to people? Like what, you know what I mean? So it's really, really methodical. Then after you pick the beats, it's like, all right, now go write some hooks. Don't write no verses, just write some hooks. Then we go back, you know what I mean? So there's a progress. Like, hey, I got an idea about the concept for the design of the album cover. We ain't there yet, bro. We over here writing. Don't worry about, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, go put that on paper and then come back to me later on that one.
Right. Right.
Wow, you jumping ahead of yourself, son.
Yeah.
You don't even have a product.
Yeah.
You worried
Right.
about
You said
Okay.
that just like Prophet said it.
it.
Yeah, funny.
Okay. Here we go. Number 6. Do you think you're living the way you're living right now? Do you think it's got plans for your life? And yeah, tell us a little bit about what you're into right now. I know, but let everybody else know.
Do I think that how I'm living right now is God's plan for my life? I do. Where He has me now, definitely in His plan, and I can see it. So right now, I'm a realtor. God brought me out here just after 2020. We sold our little spot in Anaheim, moved out here too. But what out here? By out here, I mean I'm out here in Winchester.
He's in the valley, yo.
Yeah, I'm out here in Winchester, which is next to like Temecula, Murrieta, out that way.
He's in wine country.
for real. And I'm a realtor now. God got me my realtor's license in 2020.
Okay, who you with?
I'm with Caldwell Banker, ABR, representing for the C. That's brokerage, man. And something's coming soon about that too. We're gonna do something with it. I really believe that God put me in the real estate game at the right time. Look, I know a lot of hip hop heads. I know a lot of people who are watching this who, hey, y'all need houses too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to go someplace too. Guess what? Big Rob's got you. They call me Big Rob. It's my real estate name. It's a nickname. And I say this not even to promote myself per se, but just to say, look, God put me here to help people. And it ain't about making a ton of money. It ain't even about, because if you listen to certain times, the mantra is success. And so they promote money and they promote all that things. And I'm like, Lord, I mean, that's cool if you want to give me money, but dang, I just want to get out of debt. Like, can I just do that? I just want to help some people get into a house like that. Can we do that?
Yeah.
So look, if you're out there and you're looking to get into a house, like, or even if you got questions about getting into a house, please find a way to get a hold of Stilly B, of Rob Guillen, which is my on paper government name, whatever you want to call that.
Okay, he throwing out his government name for this. Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
But I believe this is where God's got me. And it's the weirdest faith journey ever, because I mean, I'm working harder than I've ever worked in my life for a job that I ain't got paid for yet. Because in real estate, I don't get paid till you get a house. Like,
Yeah.
and that's hard. It's people don't understand how hard I work. I don't work a regular 8-hour day. Sometimes I answer the phone at 10 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? And it's real. People will text me, be like, hey, can I see a house right now? I'm like, dude, it's like 7. What are you talking about? Can you see a house right now? Like, but hey, real estate don't sleep. But I'm here. God's got me here for a reason. There needs to be a godly man in every field of business, and I'm ready.
Definitely. Oh yeah, it has to be. I think that's God's plan, is for us in every area, in every aspect of life. There should be somebody that leads you and walk you through the process, that knows God and love God and can show you God in every situation.
And can be real. One of the things I love to say is I put the real in realtor. Like, I ain't going to business explain you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do that to you. I'll be like, take my glass off for this one. Look, just be for real honest with you. I mean it. If you there, you got questions and you just like, how do I get a house? I don't know what the process is like. That's what I'm here for. Hit me up so I can walk you through that, so you don't make no dumb mistake on accident or get with the wrong person. And you got to find someone who vibes with you, and everybody knows Stilly vibes. You know what I'm saying? So let's, you know what I mean?
Big Rob vibes. Oh man, that's dope. So how long did it take you to get your license?
Well, for 3 months of school and then about 2 months of studying. So about 6 months.
Okay.
And when I say studying, not just like the way I studied in high school. Like I was in class studying. When I prayed,
it's like college, huh? College level,
5-6 hours a day. Like it was a job to me. I'm like, I'm about to make this work. Like I need money now, not yesterday. So I went and got my license. I was serious about it. I told my wife, we need to do this. We're going to do it for real. Like,
Okay.
I'm all in.
That's cool. Woo, but looking at this market right now, man. See, I'm about to start talking talking real estate. You talking about the loans, man. The interest rates is like dumb. So how do you get around that?
Marry the house, date the rate. Look, you fall in love with a house, you get that house regardless of the rate, and then years down the road, then you bump that rate, you break up with that rate, and you refinance, you get a different rate. You know what I'm saying? Marry the house, date the rate.
Hey, that's good.
At the end of the day, the rate that it is now ain't gonna be the rate it is in a few years. You know what I'm saying? If the rate drops, man, you pounce on that bad boy.
That's right.
You know, and people be like, oh, well, look what it is right now. If I only looked at what things are right now, the history of things, just things in general, finances go up, down, and up and down, and up and down. Well, when it's on the down slope, then you bounce on that bad boy.
I got you.
You know?
All right. So I answered a couple of questions for you guys out there already. You know what I mean? So, but if you have any more questions, you know he's ready to answer them. He spit that out real quick. So, number 7. What is your biggest regret or do-over? Like if you had something like you was like, man, I really messed up. I wish I can take this back and do it over. Or I
don't know why I think like this, but I don't know if my wife's watching this, but it'd be hilarious if I was just like, God, you know, if I could just get married again, and my wife like opened the door, she's like, what? Like it'd be like hilarious if like
it better be the same person.
Right? Be like, no, babe, I said if I could marry you all over again. No. Well, first of all, I don't believe in the word regret. We was talking backstage, getting ready for this with Pastor Colette about like shame and living in shame, and too many Christians be living in shame. First of all, if you in there feeling ashamed about something, you don't stand condemned. God does not condemn you. If you've done something you're ashamed of, you drop that off at the cross and you walk purposefully after that. The Bible says that his mercies are new every morning. Well, do you believe it or don't you? When you wake up in the morning, my grandma used to say, man, when I open my eyes in the morning, that's the only time during the day I have not sinned. I open my eyes and I said, Lord, thank you that I have not sinned, but I'm about to get up. So, your mercy.
I like that.
And so before you hit the ground, you're in a holy state. Lord, thank you for a good sleep. Here I go. We don't have to be live ashamed. One time I asked my dad that question. Do you regret, anything? But my dad's like, I don't. Now, are there some things I would do over? Yeah. But it ain't got nothing to do with regret. There's just some things that, with hindsight's 2020, right? The way that things I know now I would do differently. I think if I definitely regret that, would do over the way I started in hip hop ministry, because I feel like I didn't know anyone was doing it. I think if I knew that there were people doing it on a smaller scale, I thought the only people doing it was cross movement. Like I didn't know there was like Jerk was doing it or that King Cyrus. I didn't know other people was in the game doing it on a smaller scale like us, to where I could have done something, to where I could have hit up a producer that I had let's work who knew hip hop. My first couple producers didn't know hip hop at all. Like I'm surprised I even called my first album a hip hop album at all, because it didn't sound. They just didn't know what they were gonna look for. So, and I didn't know what to ask for. So if I had known that in advance, I could have used that to my, you know what I mean? I could have really helped myself out in that, and who knows where God would have brought that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that was good. But I like what you said about when you open your eyes.
Right.
I'm about to use that one, man. I'm about to store that one in the bag.
Lord,
right?
thank you that I have not sinned yet, but I'm about to get up. So since I'm about to get up, let's pray and talk. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I got a question for you. So Pops wasn't really feeling rap at all. So how did y'all get to a meeting of the minds, and how did he receive you far as doing your thing, and when did he come around, if ever?
My father loves, if he's watching this, I love you so much, Daddy. My dad loves the skill. He loves that I can rap. Man, at my dad's 20th anniversary, he had me freestyle. Like, he loves that I can rap. My dad hates this.
Yeah, okay.
This is what he hates. Stilly B. Hates that. Hates this. These. Why you gotta Why you got to wear your hat? Why you
Hey,
got?
just quick question: when you get rid of that chain, man, you can toss it my way. I'm just saying. Since your dad hates you, I mean,
But he had a hard time with it. And then what's funny, like, the one show he went to, like, that I remember him going to, like, there was one, I mean, he's been to a couple, but the one show I remember him going to was when just whatever reason, that was the vibe me and my buddy were going for at the time. I was in this group called Good Habits. And we had on these beanies hanging half off of our heads. We had these black shirts on. That's actually one of the first times I think I met you guys. And I remember just my dad walking in and my buddy goes, "Oh, dude, if all the times for him to walk in and we look like this." And it was just, I was like, "Oh, of course." But my dad knows some of my music. My dad, he's just, the hip hop is not, he always said, if you were in a rock band, I'd be selling your merch table. I'd be at your merch. I'd be at every show. My dad loves rock and roll. If I was in a rock band, my dad would have been at every show. He would have been the captain of my fan club, man. But that's his music.
Yeah.
He's not a hip hop. And even that, it was hard for him to understand that, why do you talk like that? Why can't you just talk your regular? Well, I said, Dad, because most of the neighborhoods I'm going into, they don't talk like my regular. To me, it was a persona I took on. Stilly B's, you know what I'm saying? It's a persona that I took on for hip hop. Right now I'm Big Rob in real estate, but my wife don't have to call me Big Rob, and she don't have to call me Stilly B. That'd be really weird, babe. What do you call me at home? Like,
Wouldn't it be nice if she called you Big Rob?
That'd be hilarious. He's just cooking dinner. She's like, Stilly B, how many eggs you want? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know if we really ever, my dad. But again, it made me question things like, does Snoop Dogg's parents call him Snoop Dogg at home, or is he just himself at home? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has a real name. Like, one time I remember I was driving up to where my dad was doing a roof, and I was driving up there, and my dad's assistant runs off the roof and goes, "It's Stilly B! Oh my God!" And it was hilarious. Can I have his? I got his shirt. Cracking up. But it's like that. Like my family's always made fun of me for it. Laugh. My big cousins all make fun of me.
Look, it's a funny thing you said Snoop Dogg, because we were at an event, and somebody used to call himself the Gospel Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg's mom was actually the host of the event. And she went over to him later and was like, "Baby, I don't think you should ever say you the Gospel Snoop Dogg." And I was just like, it was just crazy. So that let me know that Snoop Dogg mom didn't really call him Snoop Dogg, or agreed with it, because she was an evangelist.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It took me a long time. It wasn't even really so much that I wanted my dad at every show. What I would have liked, and my dad knows this, we've talked about this multiple times, what I would have liked is the support that the outward support that my dad couldn't give me because he didn't like the music. Like for my dad to be at a hip hop show at all meant he really must have loved me to like show up at a show. My dad could not stand it. My dad would literally come watch me and leave. Like, he just did not like the music. He could not stand it.
Well, at least he watched you. That was cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He, to the ones that he could, and for him to even come again, he had to muster it up to go. My dad didn't like hip hop. So, but I respect, older now, I at least respect that we have this understanding, like, even like if you watch my dad try to talk about rap and he'll trying to make fun, you know what I mean? Like,
hey, Dad, that was actually pretty good. Keep it going. I'm a freestyle.
But what's funny is my dad was the great, he won best dancer in his high school. Like my dad, my dad plays, he used to play instruments. Like my dad, you know what I mean? He was a sound man for a band that used to tour with Striper. Like you know what I mean? He just didn't like hip hop.
That's
I got God forbid that my son be into a music that I'm not into one day, and I have to be like, no, son, we listen to West Coast hip hop in this house. Like it. But if it happens,
rap. I like mumble rap, Dad.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't never that. But I'm gonna have to be like, Lord, is this of you? And if it is, Lord, show me how to support my son. What can I do? And that's not a diss to my dad. It's just
no, that's a nugget, right?
Taking that and learning from that and going, all right, Lord, if that happens, and I see my son doing it for you, but it's not something I would do. How can I
show me how to support? That's awesome, bro. I mean, that's like I said, that's a gem right there. Right. I'm gonna put that in my pocket, man. Definitely. Because there's some things that I don't like about my kids, but they go against God's will, so that's why I'm trying to swap. But yeah, final question, bro. Final question. What's your greatest? What do you think? Oh, okay. Wait a minute. We already did that one. Can we come up with another one, please? We did that one. What's your biggest? We're having problems. We're having technical difficulties. Watch she show up real quick.
Technically.
What's your? What do you? I knew that. Did I tell you?
What it is, Pastor Colette? What you got? She's just gonna ask it herself. She's like, he can't do it. I'm just gonna ask it myself. Okay.
You're muted.
Unmute yourself.
What is your greatest victory in your life? What's your greatest achievement? I couldn't get
my greatest achievement. Oh,
yeah.
Well, one of them is asleep right now, and the other one is gonna go to sleep. Those are my greatest achievements for sure.
Praise God. Your
Yeah,
first.
but it's weird to even say that. It's weird to even say that because they're not mine; they're God's. So like, it's weird to say they're my achievement. You know what I mean? What's weird is I look at my son as an achievement. I look at my daughter as a miracle. You know what I'm saying? Because my son, we went through a process. You know what I'm saying? Whereas my daughter was like, that happened naturally, like it's supposed to. That was a miracle. We didn't think it was gonna happen. But I think that my greatest achievement, as far as something that I know I've done for my life, I think would be just in the past 8 years, the way that I have transitioned as a husband, in my thinking and in my, I've learned to accept my wife as who she is, and not as who I want her to be, or as who I hope she becomes, or who like I see so much potential in my wife, and I know what she's capable of, and so sometimes I can be real hard on her because I want her to be where I know she can be, but I had to really take a step back about 8 years ago and be like, God, you don't do that to me though. You know, wow. To really accept my wife as and to understand that my wife is allowed to grow and change. Like, I don't, no, I married you like you're not the woman I married. Well, not because you grew. Like you're not the woman I married. Otherwise, you'd still be acting like you did 13 years ago. By the way, I've been married for 13 years. This past Monday.
Congratulations.
It's an honor to be able to say that, and it's like, no,
that's awesome, man.
I've been on this journey to just accept her, and I don't want to say it sucks to accept her, but what sucks is like I really have to like shut up some old traditional the ways that things that I've learned from watching different people, be married, where it's like, nah, I have to shut my mouth sometimes and let her. My old pastor used to say, let her sit on her hat. Like, let her be wrong. Because God will tell her. Like, why do you have to be in her face about it? God will tell her. I don't. And if you're right,
I'm learning something right now.
And if you're right, why do you have to like? I'm right. Like, if you win an argument, why do you have to like? I won. Just okay. Well.
Oh well, we never win an argument. That's just,
no, but
it don't even matter.
One time she told me I was right, and I'm like, "Can you say that one more time?" I don't know. That was weird. What did you say? I don't know if I heard you say that right. You might say it. Can you say it again? Because you might never say it again. I'm speaking on the mic. Like, I think that
Pastor Colette, like she want to be like, if I could just.
Yeah. No, but you know what though? To be honest, it really is. It's been difficult because I so much want to like steer the ship, and God's like, but it's okay if she does that, and if I'm with it, then you could be with it. Like, wow. Or even if like it's something that I look and she's doing, and I'm like, man, but God, I don't know if you want her to do that, and God's like, then let me deal with it. She's mine. So for me to be able to shut myself up, God, people have been telling me shut up for years, but I'm finally figuring out.
You're crazy.
No, for real. I'm doing this new album with Prophecy Records. It's called Never Left. Because I thought God had me retired from hip hop. What he was showing me was he just wanted me to think I was retired so that he could do some things in my life. And one of my songs on there is going to be called Jesus and Chill, because what God's showing me in life right now is that just chillax, just chill, just not even breathe. It's so much like, look, dude, just chillax. Like, I got it. Like, it's not a 10, bro. It's a 2. Like, you know what I mean? And that's where I'm at. Like, I'm not even really worried. I'm just like, Lord, like one day he was like, look at your wife. I'm okay. I'm looking at her. He goes, there she is. That's it. Ta-da. You made it. That's, why when you look at her, why do you look at her and then go, Lord, I don't see this, I don't see this, I don't see. What are you doing? Why are you picking her apart like that? Just ta-da, there she is. You know. And so now I can say, like, when I tell my wife I love you, it's just like, I love you. And what I mean by that is I love all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Even the parts that I don't like, I still love.
You can make me cry.
Like, for real, baby, I know if you're watching this, even if you're not watching this, I still love you. Like, that's cool. You don't have to watch this for me to love you. That wasn't a prerequisite. Like, you know,
that's that Christ love, man. Yeah, agape.
Yeah, it's taken me a long time to want this, to just like to desire, Lord, let me love her more like that.
Wow.
You know.
And you know, I went on a cruise, not to cut you off. I just did. But look, I recently went on a cruise, and I had this strong relationship with Christ, and it just seemed like I was kind of, you know, not hearing his voice as much as I wanted to. And I remember just, you know, for months really trying to get in that fight to get in the space where are you? And after coming from that cruise, I got a revelation that if I can't love my wife like he loves me, then that limits his relationship and me being able to get in his presence, because that directly affects the relationship that we have, because he's considering us one. And then at times I'm treating myself and I'm cutting myself off, or whatever I'm doing to myself is getting in the way. Self is getting in the way.
Yes.
And so I had to learn, like, I can't allow self to get in the way of what I really want. And if I get that connection, then I'm going to automatically do what's supposed to, you know, be right.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you would think, yeah.
Well, sometimes I think we confuse what we want, what we need so much, where God's like, look, I gave you the woman that you need.
Ooh.
You want.
Ooh.
And people get mad when I say stuff like that, when it's like, you know, like I'll always say, look, your opinion don't matter. It's just whatever it's in God's word. It don't matter what your opinion is. If it's in God's word, okay. And you can have an opinion, but God's really the amount he cares about it versus the amount that he cares that you understand his word. So it's like, who cares what you want though? But this is what God gave you. And it's like, well, my wife is flawed in these areas. And God's like, I know. Like, you don't think I know. So now when I pray and I talk to God about my wife, instead of saying, Lord, fix this and fix this, I'll just be like, Lord, continue doing whatever it is that you're doing, because it's obvious that she's not perfect, and I know I'm not perfect. So, Lord, since I don't know how to fix A, B, C, D, E, whatever it is, you do. I know you got a plan for it, and give me the grace to accept her as she is with it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. And that's so difficult for a man to especially a man of God to want to do, because we just see, again, when I look at my wife, I see the potential. I just see, wow, Lord, the things you want to do with her, I see it. And I want to squeeze the orange juice out. You don't squeeze nothing, bro. Like, just let me do, you know. And it's like that Job moment where God was like, where were you when I laid the foundation? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, yeah, my greatest achievement has been as a husband to learn how to just be. You know, they call me Stilly B for a reason, right? I gotta learn how to just be, and to be present. Gosh darn it, to just be here. You know, like I was raised to like have a plan, to have a 5-year goal. What's your 10-year goal? And what, you know, and I don't have one of those no more. I don't even, to be honest, I do worry about the future, but it's weird. It's like I do, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, all right, God, well, I might wake up tomorrow. So if I do, you know what I'm saying? Like, here's what I would like to happen in a few years, but I don't even know if tomorrow's going to happen. So that being the case, let me enjoy today, because I got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And sometimes they just do some stuff where I'm like, it brings me back to this moment. I got to enjoy this moment, because if I miss these moments, if I miss the daddy, let me show you, daddy, let me show you something, daddy, you know what I mean? Those are so special to me. Yeah. You know, it's so special to me with my wife, to watch my wife become the mother that she is just, because my wife, she takes the kids a lot because she knows that daddy works on Saturdays, so she'll take them to her mom's, and she'll, you know, like right now I'm doing this interview, she was handling, and my wife's a beast with it, man. She handles the business with these kids, and I'm just so impressed. And she's always telling me, well, I tried, or it wasn't the best day. And I'm like, but you did it though. Like, I'm so proud of you. Not one of them is dead. Like, that's amazing. One of those little sons are gonna.
Not one.
For that woman, and I've prayed for where my wife reads her Bible every night.
Wow.
You know, that puts me to shame. I don't even read my Bible every night. She puts me to shame. But God revealed to me the other night that He's courting her.
Mm.
And I prayed for this. My wife wasn't saved when she wasn't saved when she was little. She didn't grow up with the Lord. So I was telling Pastor Colette that my wife, her first real ministry was at Club Judah, helping sell my merch. Like, she'd never done nothing like none of that. So, I've prayed for this. My wife never used to want to read her word, and I didn't know why. I'm over here like, but it's amazing. Why don't you want to? Well, would you want to if someone was yelling at you like that? Like,
Nah.
I didn't want to before, and now I really don't want to. So, but to just let her do it. She'll be like, I'm going to go read my word. I'm like, all right, babe. I used to, when she would tell me that, I remember, back in the early days of our marriage, I feel so bad telling the story. I'm such a dummy. But she would come out, she'd go, I'm going to go read my word. And I would anticipately sit there and just wait, like, oh, I bet, I hope she asked me a question. And then she wouldn't, like, she'd come out and like, how was it? And then it was all right. And I'd be like, what? Blasphemy. What do you mean it was all right? You just spent time with the Father. And so it's so cooled down because now she'll just be like randomly, hey, babe, so I got a question for you about da 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 da. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, and I'll answer it. Just
I got this one, honey. Glad you asked.
Right? It's so cool because I'm just like, oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you that came. And God's like, see, if you would have just shut up, I would have given you these moments earlier. If you would have just,
I think that one of the like two things I would say is one of the greatest things I learned in marriage, and Pastor Cruz and I in March 8th were married 36 years.
Whoa.
And listen, to the Most High.
Yes.
Man, that's 36 years is older than me.
Oh,
Just look at it. Just lying. But listen,
Lord, we accept Dirk and all his flaws.
In the name of Jesus, mercy. Thank you, Father, that you forgive us and you let us. Pastor David is saying, But listen, one of the main things I learned is I'm not his mother. Okay. And he's not my child. Oh, do you get what I'm saying? And for me, for husbands to understand that's not your child, and that's not your mother. Your mother provided certain needs for you because you were her child. So and you're always going to be your mother's child.
Oh man, I just saw my mom today. I know she's over there trying to serve me a plate. My mom, I got it. I can serve a plate. Like, I'm cool.
But if you get those things, stop telling them to do something or be something like they're your child.
Right. Yeah.
Stop asking them to do things. And this is husband wife to do something like this is your child, or expecting them to take care of you like you're their child.
Yeah.
You understand there's a big difference. Once you get that, the whole thing changes. Why are you talking to me like I'm your child?
Right.
Why are you expecting me to do something for you like I'm your mother?
Right.
Or your father. You understand?
It goes both ways, because 100%.
Yes, it goes both ways. Yeah. And once you determine, like, it's a really great thing that you said, God gave you what you need. What do you do with what you need? Relax.
Yeah.
Relax. Just breathe. Relax. And everything else, human nature is changed. People change incrementally, unless you get knocked off of a donkey,
right?
And you don't want that for your spouse.
No.
But things happen, just like how, and that shows a lot of maturity. Just like you change incrementally, and God allowed you that, you have to allow your spouse the same thing. And the other thing I think is when you understand, we are not enemies.
Yes.
We're on the same side.
We have an enemy, but
Yeah, we have an enemy, and we wage war together.
Amen.
Once you get that, and for those of you who are not married, this is what I will say to you: choose a warrior.
Yeah.
Choose someone who can wage war with you and has the ammunition. You know what it says? It's choose someone who you can wage war with, because it's going to get tough. And you want someone who is equally yoked, means both of y'all can stand together, and you have a foundation. If you get those, because listen, and I'll say it, people are choosing, listen to me, by what kind of hair the person has.
Then they find out it's a weave later on, it's a wig. And
yes. And listen, let me clear up something, because you know the first. Listen, because one thing that shocks a lot of people across ethnicities, Caucasians wear weaves and extensions. But listen, their men just don't talk about it.
That's right.
Hello, somebody's gonna say,
yeah. Someone's going to go pull their wife hair, make sure it comes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they got those clip-ins, they flossed those things. I'm telling you. But some people are choosing their mates by what color they're going to look like, what the children are going to look like, by how long their hair is, what their body looks like. And none of them realizing all that is going to be different soon. But listen, if the word of God, because listen, the word of God is planted in them, when the hard times come, and both of y'all have been married long enough to know when the hard times come, you need somebody that is standing on some solid ground.
Amen.
And if you're choosing anything else, you have set up, and the other thing I'll say, because I know it's just about time for Jerk to get off the thing, because his wife allows us, she blesses us with him. But listen, this thing I tell you, young people, listen, this is what I tell my children. Choose your spouse. Choose for your grandchildren.
Yeah.
Who is going to do the teaching of your grandchildren? How are your grandchildren going to be taken care of? What are they going to, if a lot of people think profanity is cool. It's cool till you have 4-year-olds saying what you're saying, or what your woman is saying, because that's how she speaks. She doesn't know another type of English. If that's okay with you and your mother and your grandmother, okay. But if not, listen, you think that's cute? It's cute till you have to deal with it. But choose for your grandchildren. If something goes wrong, are you going to have a grandmother? And that's whenever I meet my son's girlfriends, the first thing he lets me talk to me, he knows it's the first thing I ask them. So, where do you go to church? Do your parents go to church? And did their parents go to church? I need to know that there's a legacy.
That's cool.
I need to know that there's a legacy there. And you don't think it matters until somebody gets really sick, or somebody has your children, and a policeman are there, or some serious thing happens, and now you need, okay, what if all of a sudden you lose your job, and now they're going to foreclose on the house? Did you choose somebody who's beautiful, but because you no longer have a house, they are out, they're gone because you no longer have? Or do you have somebody that's going to stand and stay? You got to choose wisely. I hope somebody who's watching this, you better choose somebody who, when the tough times get hard, they can stand back to back with you and fight. And that's all I have to say about that. But the other thing I was going to say, the only reason I popped in was because that next question, I accidentally deleted it. and it wasn't there, so I didn't have time to tape it. So to type it, so I just popped in. And
Nah,
the
that's
other
perfect.
thing,
That's perfect.
yes,
That's good.
the
No,
only thing, the other thing I want to say on behalf of Stilly B, those the things that I played his music with outside that video, do not hold that to him. He did not put the music. I did that. So don't be thinking in your heart, well, that was really tacky what he did. He didn't do that. Okay, I got you. Look, I got you, Stilly B. He didn't do that. That's not the quality of work he does. That's me and Canva trying to make something happen. Okay. That's
funny.
it. But that's all I have to say. I was very impressed with your marriage IQ.
Mm.
I have one other thing. I always wonder, people that watch a lot of sports, Dr. Paulo Cruz, I always wonder when you get to heaven, do you really think they're going to ask you before you get in? Okay, now before you get in, did you watch all of these hours? Because if you didn't watch all of those, then you can't get in. Do you really think that they're going to ask you?
Right.
Because I got news for you. They're not.
Nope.
All the times that you could be spending with your spouse, but my thing is, I'm cool with it now. That's your life. I just want you to think that through.
Let's watch it together, baby.
Right. Right. No.
Listen, I know it's an hour 20. I'm bouncing it back over to you. And the question that you're going to ask when I get off of this is, do you have anything else that you'd like to add? Okay.
Well,
So, if you were to have to speak final words from Stilly, first of all, let everybody know how they can reach you. Yeah, let's go.
look, Instagram, Big Rob _dad life. If you want to reach Stilly B. Facebook, it is real easy. My Facebook is my real estate page too. So it's just Rob Guillen, GUILLEN. You can find me. Let's connect. Let's talk. I'm even on LinkedIn because I'm professional. You can put Rob Guillen.
That's right.
I don't wear sunglasses because that's not how LinkedIn rolls. Whatever. But yeah, get at me. You can if you out there and you want to call Stilly B, like you can call me. You can DM me. You can get any of these people. They got my number. They will give it to you, and they can, because I'm here to help you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Especially if you're like, man, one day I'd like to get a house. Well, man, I can help you figure out how to do that and how to be about that path. So for sure. You said something about if I had any final. What is it?
Okay, no. If you had to speak to this generation of new artists coming up, what piece of advice would you give them moving forward?
Okay, look, I'm gonna put it. This maybe is real simple. Look, two things. Okay, the first thing is, can y'all please share? Don't be so selfish. Look, your music might be great, but it's not yours. It's God's. This don't belong to you. Okay. The one thing our generation had was we shared. We knew we had to collab. We were not. I'm not 116. I'm not Cross Movement. I'm not T-Bone. I'm not those dudes. I don't need to be where those dudes were. But we shared together. We were on the stage together. Think about all those egos in one room, guys. And today I just don't see anyone doing it like that. And what I mean by that is, where are the hip hop concerts? And you could blame the pandemic. That's fine if you want to do that. But I know that the world found a way to get concerts out there during the pandemic. Where's the Christian hip hop at? Where are you guys? Share with each other. It's okay to be together. It's okay to share. It's okay to collab, And the second thing, if we're being honest, if we're being real, this stuff, all this stuff, does it really matter? At the end of the day, does it matter? Does it really matter? Like, do it. And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't wear it. Look, I love these. Everything I have has a story as to why I wear it. Okay. But please be authentic. Please share you. Your audience needs to hear you. And if you mumble rap, if that's your thing, then mumble rap for the Lord like crazy. Do it for the next, so that the world could see that hip hop is still a way that God operates. We know he does. Let's go let the world know that he does. Okay, I don't need to mumble rap. I have an audience that's just not that. But if you mumble rap, mumble rap the crap out of that bad boy. Do it for the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I would have to say to this young generation. I hope that there be some young Christian hip hop soldiers that will go forth and do some things in this young generation for the young generation that you and I can't do no more. I hope that they do. Because otherwise, who's going to be in our seats when you and I are even older? You know what I'm saying? So that would be. I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but
No, that's dope, man. Hey, I asked you the question and you delivered, man. So with that, we're gonna bring the whole crew in, and oh, you back? Oh, Pastor.
You said the whole crew.
Yeah. This is how we.
I think she's doing something there.
I am. What happened?
Oh, it's a delay, huh?
I am.
No, I figured she was taking the names off.
Yeah. Who are we hearing?
Oh, I'm turning down my iPad because I listen to and watch other stuff.
Oh,
no. I've got the show on my iPad and on Facebook in different places. So
nice.
He's on another level, dude. He's on another level. But we enjoyed you, Steely B. It was great to see you and hear you, and you blessed. It was just good to hear all of that. A lot of that we had discussed prior, so we were in touch. But it was really good. It's really good to hear you talk about marriage and stuff. But we appreciated you. It was good to have you.
It was an honor to be here, and hey, I'm here to help you guys out too. Okay, if you guys know anybody that needs assistance real estate wise, please know you can send them to me, and I'll take care of them really well. I want you guys to know that from the bottom of my heart. Okay.
Amen. We receive that. Everybody.
Peace out.
Peace out.